Overnight, Israel took out Ismail Haniyeh, the number one political leader of Hamas. Earlier in the day, they killed the number two Hezbollah operative. Your reaction to both of Israel's strikes against these terrorists?
Well, first for the strike in Hezbollah, Farouk, the number two official there, he was heavily involved in the plotting and planning, of Fawad Shukr. He was heavily involved in the plotting and planning the 1983 bombing in Beirut that killed over 200 Marines. So for all the families, all the victims, finally justice was done. Thank you, Israel, and Semper Fi. Number one, and number two, Haniyeh, just to remind everyone, this was the face of Hamas. He was kind of their foreign minister and political leader at the same time. This was the guy hobnobbing around 4 seasons in Qatar and Doha in Turkey, meeting with the Ayatollah. I was really stunned that they took him out. He has been involved in the negotiations in terms of the hostage deal, so I think there may be some criticism there. But at the same time, this was a bad guy. You're going to hear people say, oh, well, this was the more moderate face. I don't know if this was an overreach on part of the Israelis. No, wrong. It sends a very clear message that you can run, you cannot hide. And the fact that he was in a house in Tehran, I think, sends a very strong message to the IRGC and to the Ayatollah, to the supreme leader himself, that your proxies are not safe under your umbrella, under your incompetent umbrella. And let's just remind everyone, because the Biden administration has just kind of erased it off the face of the earth, Iran launched hundreds of cruise missiles and drones just a few months ago directly at Israel. So this is not an escalation on Israel's part. This is score settling.
Months ago, when Iran struck at Israel, Joe Biden told Benjamin Netanyahu to, quote, take the win. And Israel's response, very targeted, very lethal, but also very small, sent a message, but it didn't send the big guns. If Iran strikes them again, it will be after Netanyahu's been in the United States, met with Joe Biden, who is probably as vacant in private as he appears to be in public, met with Kamala Harris, who insulted him by not going to the joint session. I think Netanyahu may have decided, I'm on my own. I've got at least 8 months because they've gone into their summer recess. It takes 4 months to hold an election and change a government. He's there for at least 8 months, even if the government collapses when they come back from the recess. Do you think he's decided to do whatever he thinks is in the best interest of the Jewish state right now and damn the United States Democratic Party?
Well, at least for the next 5 months. I mean, they're doing nothing but frankly, I think leave Israel exposed and show daylight between the U.S. and Israel, which is only inviting more escalation on their part. So if they had a tactical opportunity to take these leaders out, they had to take them. But the other thing, Hugh, and this is just where the left gets it so wrong, the more concessions you make, every time the administration says the word de-escalation, you are actually inviting escalation from the Iranians. And what the Israelis know is Hamas responds to pressure. For those leaders that are remaining, when they see Haniyeh go boom in the middle of a house in the middle of Tehran, in what should have been a heightened security environment for the inauguration of the new president of Tehran, that makes them think twice. The thing they care about the most is their own power and their survival, and that makes them more likely to make a deal, not less likely to make a deal, which is, I guarantee you, what you're going to hear on the airwaves today from the left. Hamas, Hezbollah, terrorists, Al-Qaeda and the Taliban that I personally had to deal with respond to pressure and to threats to their power and existence. That's how it works in the Middle East. Netanyahu does it, knows that, and Harris doesn't have a clue.
No, she doesn't. She went to the Atlanta airport after her rally yesterday and was confronted by a reporter about the attack in Beirut. And this was her response, and it's before Israel goes into the heart of darkness and takes out Haniyeh in Iran. This is Kamala Harris on the tarmac yesterday. Play the tape.
What's happened over the last few hours in terms of the Middle East, and be very clear, Israel has a right to defend itself, and I unequivocally support Israel's right to remain secure and to defend the security of Israel. What we know in particular is it has the right to defend itself against a terrorist organization, which is exactly what Hezbollah is. But all of that being said, we still must work on a diplomatic solution to end these attacks, and we will continue to do that work.
So I just asked Dan Senor about this, Congressman Waltz, and he said, but Israel, it's always the but. And I do not believe Kamala Harris has a grasp of the Middle East. I don't think she has the background, the knowledge, the capability of gaining it. What is your reaction to her response?
My reaction is to remind everyone that she opposed and thought it was destabilizing the strike on Soleimani. The strike that President Trump took, which was precision, did not kill a whole slew of civilians, and I think stabilized the Middle East after a whole slew of destabilizing activities and escalation by Iran. Sometimes you have to escalate to de-escalate. Sometimes you have to punch the bully in the nose to get him to back down. And you're right. I don't think she understands the basics of deterrence, much less the long, complicated history and the intricacies of the Middle East, nor how stabilization and deterrence works there. I just think she's way over her head in a very dangerous way. But you're right. It's all Israel, Israel, Israel. And what you don't hear from her, Blinken, Lloyd Austin, anybody, I guess, that's this oligarchy running the country right now is Iran, Iran, Iran. How do we get to the heart of the problem? And it is their cash. As long as they have it, Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis are going to continue.
Now, Congressman Waltz, you were already a busy guy this week. You're on Intel, Foreign Affairs, and Defense. And then you got tapped by Speaker Johnson to do the assassination inquiry along with my friend David Joyce. You've got Lou Correa on there as a Democrat, good friend of mine from the old days in Orange County. Good guy, good committee. How quickly can you move? Because what we've seen thus far from Director Wray and from the former Secret Service director and the acting Secret Service director is just a word salad. We don't even have a timeline yet of anything.
Well, no, you do actually, Hugh. Cheadle, I'm also on oversight to add to the list. Former Director Cheadle said, well, we're looking to complete a report in 60 days. And her plan was not to tell the American people a thing for 2 months, which was wholly and completely tone deaf and unacceptable. So one of the things that I was disappointed the senators didn't get out of the acting director yesterday was a new timeline for completion. And the fact that there's not even been a suspension pending the completion of the investigation, I found really truly astounding. And the thing is, the threats are continuing. I think after today's hits, the threats will actually escalate from Iran. Iran, we should be very clear, Iran fully intends and is plotting and planning to assassinate President Trump. And now the intelligence community has revealed that they're actively looking to interfere in the election to defeat President Trump if they can't kill him. This is incredibly serious. And I just get the sense from the bureaucracy at DHS and the Secret Service and FBI that they're kind of methodically plodding along, just like this was a bank robbery investigation. So I am honored to be on this task force. We're going to move as fast as we can. We should be in those agencies in the next week, looking at exactly what they're looking at. But that'll be up to the new chairman, Mike Kelly.
I want to know, and I'll just leave you with this thought, Congressman. I want to know how many people were on every Obama detail in 2008, how many people were on every Clinton detail and Trump detail in 2016. It is incredible to me that I don't even know where the country would be if the shot had hit the former president. How quickly can we expect any kind of product from the task force?
Well, the report is due by December. I hope that we somewhat are dependent on these agencies, but we need to also do our own independent investigation. To your point, Hugh, that's what I've been making since day one. President Trump is not your standard former president where they just budget for so many agents, just like they would for Jimmy Carter in an old folks home or H.W. Bush painting in his barn. And I know for a fact the agents were desperately asking for more resources. That's for his basic protective detail on top of what they needed for these rallies, clearly didn't get, made them dependent on local law enforcement. And anytime you have all of these different agencies involved, you have a higher likelihood of a breakdown. The Secret Service, if they need more, needs to come to us and ask more. That said, they have received almost double their budget in the last 8 years. So we've got core detail issues. We have what happened that day at the rally, and then we have broader systemic issues, recruiting, training. Do they have the right size budget? We have a lot to look at in a very short amount of time.